You've been training for dumb zombies, predictable patterns, no tactics, just mindless aggression you can exploit. Now imagine they start thinking back. Not human-level intelligence, just enough to learn, adapt, and coordinate. Congratulations, you just went from possible survivor to educational example for other zombies. Welcome to Outbreak Files. Today, we're breaking down what happens when zombies develop intelligence. Let's start with what intelligence actually means for the infected. Standard zombies repeat the same mistakes forever because they can't form new memories. They walk into the same traps. You exploit this. You set up defenses based on their stupidity. It's basically the only reason humanity lasted more than a week in most zombie movies. Intelligent zombies learn, and learning changes everything. Here's what this looks like. You set up a spike trap that kills 3 infected. Standard zombies, the next 50 walk into it like lemmings with worse survival instincts. Intelligent zombies, the 4th one sees the pattern and walks around it. By zombie number 10, the entire group is detouring around it. Your trap just became expensive lawn decoration. Your defenses stop working after a single use. That alarm system that distracts them works once. They associate the sound with no food and ignore it the second time. That fake noise to draw them away, they learn it's a trick. That narrow corridor kill zone, they stop entering after enough die there. You're not fighting a static threat. You're fighting an enemy that adapts in real time. Every tactic you use teaches them. Every trap you spring makes them smarter. You're training your own enemy, and they've got way more bodies to sacrifice for learning than you have resources to keep changing strategies. And here's the nightmare multiplication. They share information. One zombie learns a trap exists. If they can communicate, even through basic gestures, the entire group knows. You get to use each trick exactly once before it becomes obsolete. Standard zombies swarm accidentally. They cluster because they're all drawn to the same stimulus. There's no strategy. It's basically Black Friday, but somehow less organized. Intelligent zombies coordinate deliberately, and coordination multiplies effectiveness exponentially. Here's what this looks like. You're fortified in a building. Standard zombies cluster at the main entrance. Intelligent zombies, 3 shuffle toward your front gate to hold your attention. 2 circle around back. 1 climbs an adjacent building to scout. They're not swarming, they're flanking. You're not tracking individual threats anymore. You're tracking a coordinated unit, executing a multi-pronged approach. They're forcing you to spread thin, to make choices, and then exploiting the gaps you leave. They use bait and ambush tactics. 1 infected makes noise in an obvious location. You investigate because you have to. When you respond, 3 more hit you from the side. You weren't ambushed by accident. You were ambushed by design. They adapt their timing. Standard zombies attack whenever they detect you. Intelligent zombies wait. They watch your patrol routes. They identify when you're most vulnerable, during supply runs, sleep rotations, when your numbers are split. They attack when you're weakest because they understand optimal timing. And here's what kills groups. They exploit human patterns. You have routines, water runs every 2 days, perimeter checks every 4 hours. Intelligent zombies memorize it and plan around it. Your organizational skills just became your obituary. Standard zombies encounter an obstacle and push against it until they break through or give up. No thinking, just force. Intelligent zombies problem solve, and problem solving turns fortifications into temporary delays instead of real defenses. Here's what this looks like. You've got a wall. Standard zombies press against it. Intelligent zombies look for the weak point. They test different sections. They notice one area has older mortar or sits on softer ground. They focus their efforts there because they understand structural vulnerabilities. They use tools, not complex tools. They're not building siege equipment, but they grab anything heavy, bricks, pipes, concrete chunks, and swing them like crude battering tools. They can drag debris as climbing aids. That barricaded door, they're not just pushing. They're using a pipe as a lever to pry it open. They understand cause and effect. You've got razor wire? They throw bodies onto it, deliberately, to create a path for others. You've got a moat? They fill it with debris. You've got a drawbridge? They wait until you lower it for your own use and rush it then. And here's the strategic nightmare. They learn from other groups' failures. If intelligent infected hit another survivor compound and fail but some escape, those survivors carry knowledge of what didn't work. The next compound faces enemies that already learned from previous mistakes. Standard zombies use their bodies as weapons. Hands, teeth, that's it. Intelligent zombies use objects, and objects multiply their threat level catastrophically. Here's what this looks like. Infected pickup rocks and throw them. Not accurately, but well enough to break windows, trigger alarms, injure defenders at range. You're not safe behind barriers anymore. They use improvised clubs, pipes, branches, anything heavy. Your protective gear that stops bites doesn't stop blunt force trauma. They're not trying to bite you. They're bashing your skull with a brick because they learned it's more effective. They manipulate fire, not making it, but using existing fire. If they see a burning building, some understand fire spreads. They carry burning debris to new structures. Your wooden fortifications? They're fuel, and the infected just figured that out. They create simple traps. They undermine structures so they collapse when you enter. They leave infected in hiding spots, positioned perfectly to grab you during your sweep. You're being ambushed by creatures that technically don't have executive function. Standard zombies make noise, moans, growls, but it's just output, no meaning. Intelligent zombies communicate. Simple signals, gestures, distinct sounds for different situations. It doesn't need to be language, just information transfer. Food here, danger there. Attack now, wait. An information transfer turns individuals into an organized force. You're not fighting hundreds of separate zombies. You're fighting one distributed intelligence with hundreds of bodies. Standard zombies don't understand psychology. They don't try to scare you, they just attack. Fear is a byproduct, not a weapon. Intelligent zombies understand that fear is tactical, and weaponized fear breaks groups faster than direct assault. Here's what this looks like. They start making deliberate noise at night. Not attack noise, just sounds that keep you awake. Scratching at walls, tapping on windows. They're not trying to break in. They're trying to deny you sleep. After 3 nights of constant noise, your guard rotation is exhausted. Your decision-making is impaired, and you're making mistakes. They use psychological targeting. They identify the weakest members of your group, the ones who panic, who freeze, who break under pressure, and they focus attention on those individuals. One person having a breakdown affects everyone's morale. They display intelligence deliberately to unsettle you. They arrange objects. They leave signs that they were inside your perimeter while you slept but didn't attack. They want you to know they chose not to kill you this time. That's not mercy, that's mind games. They take trophies, backpack, weapons, items that belong to survivors they killed, and they leave these items where you'll find them. You discover your friend's jacket hanging from a tree near your camp. That's not random, that's a message. They've discovered grief as a weapon. Standard zombies don't understand resources. They don't care about your water supply or food stores. They only care about attacking you directly. Intelligent zombies understand that you need resources to survive, and denying you resources is safer than attacking you directly. Here's what this looks like. They contaminate water sources. They don't drink, so they don't care, but you do. They drag corpses into rivers upstream from your position. They make your water sources unusable, forcing you to travel further for clean water, which exposes you to more danger. They destroy crops. That garden you've been growing for months, they trample it, not to eat, just to deny you food. They understand that a starving human is a weaker human, and a weaker human is easier to kill. They monopolize key resources. That pharmacy you've been scavenging from, they occupy it. Not because they need medicine, but because they know you need medicine. They're not defending it actively. They're just present there, forcing you to fight for access. And they can afford casualties defending that pharmacy. Can you? They cut supply lines. If you've established a route between 2 locations, they learn that route, and they set up along it, making using that route so dangerous that you abandon it. Your positions become isolated, which makes both more vulnerable. Standard zombies don't adapt to your tactics. You find something that works, and you can use it indefinitely. Intelligent zombies adapt, and adaptation means your effective weapons become obsolete faster than you can replace them. Here's what this looks like. You've been using sound to lure them into traps. It works great initially. Then they start sending 1 or 2 infected to investigate sounds instead of the whole group. They're testing whether sounds are real threats or tricks. your lure becomes ineffective because they learn to verify before committing. You've been using choke points to funnel them into kill zones. They start avoiding choke points entirely. They take longer routes around your kill zones, even if it means hours of extra travel. You've been using barriers that standard zombies couldn't breach. Intelligent zombies don't attack barriers directly anymore. They wait. They watch for you to open gates, lower bridges, create gaps for your own use. Then they exploit those moments. Your security protocols become your greatest vulnerability. You've been using predictable defense patterns. They memorize those patterns and plan around them. You always retreat to the same backup position when overwhelmed. They're already there waiting. Your contingency plans become traps because they anticipated them. Standard zombies react to immediate stimuli. They don't study. They don't analyze. They just respond. Intelligent zombies observe. And observation means they understand you better than you understand them. Here's what this looks like. They learn to recognize specific humans by role. They identify who's the leader based on who others look to for decisions. They identify who's the best fighter based on who other survivors position protectively. And they prioritize targets based on that information. Kill the leader first, and the group fractures. They learn to predict human behavior patterns. Humans are creatures of habit, even in apocalypses. You check the same corners the same way. You approach buildings from the same angles. And intelligent zombies recognize these patterns and exploit them. They understand human emotions and use them against you. They know you'll risk everything to save certain people, family, children, close friends, so they create situations where you have to choose between safety and saving someone you care about. They're manipulating your decisions by understanding what you value. They learn from watching you fight other infected. Every time you engage zombies, survivors who escape carry information about your tactics back to the broader infected population. You're teaching the enemy how to kill you every time you successfully defend yourself. Here's the brutal calculation. Humans need rest, food, water, and social cohesion to survive. Intelligent zombies need none of those things. They can maintain pressure indefinitely while you deteriorate. You get weaker over time. They stay the same. You run out of resources. They don't need resources. You make mistakes from exhaustion. They don't get tired. You need hope to keep fighting. They don't need morale. The math is simple. In a war of attrition against an intelligent enemy that doesn't need supplies and doesn't feel fatigue, humans lose, not eventually, quickly. Here's why intelligent zombies are the worst case scenario. Every human advantage disappears. You're not smarter than them anymore. You're equally matched in intelligence, but catastrophically outmatched in numbers, endurance, and resource independence. Your fortifications, they breach them systematically. Your tactics, they adapt after seeing them once. Your weapons, they learn to counter them. Your psychological resilience, they know how to break it. Your need for food, water, and rest, they exploit all of it. Standard zombies are a manageable threat because they're predictable. You can build strategies around their stupidity. Intelligent zombies, every strategy you develop teaches them. Every defense you build gets studied and dismantled. Every success you have makes them smarter for the next encounter. This isn't a war you can win. It's a war where fighting back makes your enemy more effective. The only winning move is not being there when the outbreak starts. Because once intelligent undead exist, humanity's extinction is just math with a timeline. You just learned why thinking zombies end everything. Here's your question. What kills you first? Them learning your defense patterns? Them using psychological warfare to break your mind? Or them just waiting until you run out of food? Drop your answer below, then subscribe. Because if zombies could think, your survival plan just became worthless.